For more on all this, let's bring in Alex Marlow, Breitbart News Editor-in-Chief, Mike Huckabee, former Arkansas Governor David Bossie, 2024 Republican National Convention co-chair and former Trump deputy campaign manager. Mike Huckabee, you know, I thought it was a very cool speech. I guess that's obvious from my riff. But that ending point, Trump worked, and I know it's his father's company, but nonetheless, as a young man, Summers and more, Trump worked on the construction sites with all kinds of people of all kinds of colors, including union folks, right? And then he grew up and he knew how to build buildings and change the face of Manhattan real estate. And you know what, Mike, I want to say one more thing. 2015, late 2015, saintly wife and I were in a group. It was a dinner. It was a New York State Republican dinner. Trump spoke. We'd never really heard him politically before. And he went out and he talked about how it was the old Commodore Hotel, dilapidated across from Grand Central Station, and how he rebuilt the hotel into the beautiful Grand Hyatt. And he talked about floors and floorboards and walls and ceilings and fixtures, stuff that I know virtually nothing about. Saintly wife knows a little more about. He went through it. It was jaw-dropping. And then he ends the speech, Mike Huckabee, and he says, you know what? Give me a chance, and I will rebuild the entire country the same way. I've never forgot it. And it's part of that surface in the Bronx. What you think, Governor Mike Huckabee?
I thought it was the best speech I've heard him give, maybe ever. And I think for exactly the reasons you talked about. For one thing, he reminded people that he's done something Joe Biden's never done. He's actually signed the front of a paycheck. He's had to run a business. He's had to take complex issues, break them down into simple things and get them done, and do it with a budget. He's done everything that we'd love a president to do, but we have one now that couldn't do it, even if he could be helped off the stage with 30 people who could show him which way to go. So I totally agree. The New York Post editorial was spot on. We need more of Trump talking about what it takes to build something of magnificence and to make this country the metaphor for the things that he can build. And I love the term MAGAnomics. Boy, is that a contrast to Bidenomics.
Got it. David Bossie, you know, Governor Kathy Hochul here in New York, and Democrats all across the country, including Joe Biden. David, I don't think they know what's hit them. And I know he's probably not going to carry the South Bronx. Okay, I get that. I don't know whether he'll carry New York or not. It's a long shot. He may make it close. But, you know, the message here is this was a rally of people of colors. And the people of colors were there because they're tired of losing their wages. They're tired of losing their jobs. They're tired of crime in the streets and the unlawful immigration through the open border. I don't think the Dems get that. I mean, I think they may be blindsided by this, David Bossie, and no one gives a better speech on it than Mr. Trump.
You couldn't be more right. And Governor Hochul, they're scared. The Democrat leadership is scared. And of course, Governor Hochul didn't help herself any. She clearly went to the Hillary Clinton campaign school. She didn't remember the basket of deplorables line when she uttered all of her constituents were clowns for going to watch Donald Trump's rally yesterday. They don't understand. Look, just let me get this right. The black vote in 2020 went 12% for Donald Trump. Today, he is polling at 23%. Hispanic vote in 2020, 32%. Today, he's at 46% of the Hispanic vote. Those are numbers that are scaring the daylights out of the Democrats because Donald Trump is doing what you guys were just talking about. Hope, growth, and opportunity. Yeah. It is what the future means for these Americans, no matter what your color is. That is what Donald Trump is talking about. It's very Reagan-esque. It's the shining city on the hill. That's why these people from all walks of life come here for the American dream. And Joe Biden has left this country, whether it's our national security or our economy, a smoking crater. And that's what the American people are tired of. They want to fire Joe Biden and rehire Donald Trump.
Alex Marlow, hang in there. I have not forgotten you, but I want to play one more sound. I want you to hear one more sound about hope and responsibility in the reconstruction of New York City. I think we have another sound. Let's roll it.
we're going to make New York bigger, better, and more beautiful than ever before. And that includes right here in the Bronx. And it's going to be done and funded starting on January 20th, directly from our great and beautiful White House.
And, Alex, one more. This is from Ackman, who's a big hedge fund guy in New York City. What's his first name? All right, whatever. Bill Ackman. Here's the quote. This is from his tweet on Twitter, X, whatever it is. Quote, does America want to be a nation of victims or a people who aspire and work hard to achieve success? Greatness and leadership in the world, this has become the fundamental question of the upcoming presidential election. That is a Wall Streeter, okay, Mr. Ackman, whatever his name. He's a good guy. I've met him a couple times. So, Alex Marlow, I don't want to overplay this. I'm not going to stand up here and say to you, Trump's going to carry the Bronx in the election, okay? I'm not going to go that far. But I am going to say these are warnings, rumblings, shots across the bow. In a sense, in the South Bronx last night, Mr. Trump gave a national speech because it was covered everywhere, Alex. Now, what do you make of that?
Yeah, so Larry, I look at this two different ways. The first thing is look at the atmosphere. This thing was lit. You are seeing rappers with tats on their faces, rapping about MAGA with the red hats on. This stuff is unbelievable. The Democrats are completely jealous that this is happening. They could never do this. Imagine them going to some rural district in a red state and turning out 6 people, much less thousands and thousands of people, having a great time and just loving this president, Donald Trump. But look at the content, which you guys are doing, which is so smart to do. He's talking about immigration. He's talking about optimism. He's talking about crime. He's talking about rebuilding America. This stuff resonates with people who are thinking about living paycheck to paycheck, trying to fill their gas in their car, trying to get groceries to be a more affordable price. This resonates. Trump is on point, and the crowd is right behind him.
I mean, as his career progressed, Trump became a marketing genius, okay, with the Apprentice television show and marketing his various properties around the country and around the world. You know, I think, Alex, that just as a follow-up, this is marketing genius. In other words, he's been tied up in this goofy trial for weeks and weeks and weeks. So what has he done? He's gone out in his spare time. He only gets a short window. He goes to Wisconsin, gives a great speech. He goes to the New Jersey seashore to 100,000 people in Wildwood, New Jersey, and gives a great speech. He goes up to Harlem to the bodegas and gives a great speech. He visits construction sites when he has a chance after the courtroom's finished. He meets with the fire department people, and then this speech here in the South Bronx. You got to admire that, Alex. I mean, that is marketing and communication skill. The message is superb, but I'm just saying the way he's doing this, he's making up for lost time. He's doesn't have to pay for this. This is going all around the country and probably all around the world as the word gets out that Trump is mangling the old Democratic majority. What do you think about that, Alex? It's a marketer's dream, I think.
I love it. And as a media guy, this resonates with me so much. Of course, he's so sharp on the issues. But the fact that he keeps coming up with creative ways to get the message out, to make it fresh, to make it entertaining. I've never seen a politician who can do this, and it's still stunning to me.
Mike Huckabee, I got a couple of little tidbits before we're done today. We welcome everybody's time on a Friday. Nikki Haley. She came out of speech at the Hudson Institute, and she said that she would vote for Mr. Trump. And Mr. Trump himself, I have to read the quote because it was done on another network, but he was very gracious, Mike Huckabee. Here's what he said, quote, well, I think she's going to be on our team because we have a lot of the same ideas, the same thoughts. You know, we had a nasty campaign. It was pretty nasty, but she's a very capable person, and I'm sure she's going to be on our team in some form. Absolutely, period, end quote. Governor Huckabee, what do you make of that one?
Well, it was a smart move on Nikki Haley's part. A little late. Should have been done earlier. She promised she would support the nominee. She finally came around. Don't think she'll be vice president, but, you know, if the president gives her a cabinet position to do something, at least she's on the team. But the one thing I think we learned from last night, and even what we're learning today from Donald Trump, look at the contrast. Donald Trump looks like a person who's going somewhere. Joe Biden looks like a person who's sorry he's been.
That's it. Right. Who's going nowhere, actually. David Bossie, Nikki Haley on the team, vice president, cabinet officer, ambassador to someplace. What do you think?
I think it's fine. Whatever she does, she needs to bring her people along. But Donald Trump is on offense, not talking just to Republicans. That's the difference, Larry. The president in this campaign is on offense. He's talking to people in Virginia. He's talking to people in Minnesota. He's talking to people in New Jersey and in New York. He is looking at the Mondale landslide of 1984, and he's saying, how can I continue this optimistic vision and deliver it to all of the American people? And we're going to talk past party. That's what he did in 2016, and that's what he's doing again.
Yeah, he's broadening the base of the whole Republican Party, it seems to me. He's breaking through, he's punching through those old Democratic majorities. And I don't think Joe Biden knows exactly what's hitting him. Anyway, Alex Marlow, Governor Mike Huckabee, Dave Bossie, thank you, all of you.